For me, the most overlooked item is the ability to really listen for what the customer's after. And I don't mean happy listen, like truly listen for what their actual pain point is. And so if you're not able to truly listen for what they're really after, I think you're doing them and yourself a disservice.
My hot take is there's really only two routes into the glass industry. Either your daddy's daddy did it, or it was a total accident by happenstance. But once you're in, you're hooked. There was some changes there that I kind of wasn't aligned with. I'm not going to besmirch anything. I just knew it was a good place for me when it was good. After a certain leadership changed and things kind of shifted with acquisitions, and so there was a path for me. I wasn't shuttled out of there, but I just realized I wasn't going to be able to give the same level of commitment that I had.
I make it myself. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You've made it or you're going to make it. It's either inching a measurement or missing a fraction. Measuring isn't just about measuring. It's about the psychology of sales. They're almost one and the same. We'll literally do anything if a customer needs it. That's one of our repeat clients. Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Glass GPT episode. I think this is episode 9 or 10. I kind of lost track, but we're here with Andrew with FHC, three glass guys. So this one should be interesting. And so I'll just jump right into it. Andrew, everybody knows, but I got to ask everybody anyway. Who are you and what do you do for the one person that doesn't know?
Well, shit, I don't know what I do. I do a little bit of everything. My name is Andrew Herring. I work in the glass industry. I work for FHC, frameless hardware company. I've been around a bit. I'm by no stretch of the imagination a glazer. I've installed glass and can install glass. I've worked around construction most of my adult life. I'm the chief marketing officer here at FHC, but I'm really just a kind of a junk drawer utility player. I dance all around from product development to sales to marketing to the executive team to everything in between. I'll deliver hardware. I'll help spec hardware. I will make a lot of noise and piss a few people off in the process. That's about a nutshell for me.
I like that. Andrew, when you say chief marketing officer, I've always enjoyed everything that you put out, whether it's your scripts or kind of these nostalgic photos and things that we used to use when we were kids. How much leeway has FHC given you when doing all the marketing? Do you have to get approval on stuff that you post, or you get to do basically whatever the hell you want?
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of trust built in. So I don't. They'd rather not know, or I'm kind of more of a ask for forgiveness than permission. But I tend to toe the line, okay, or thread that needle, whatever you want to say. But I just some obvious ones. I never talk religion, never talk politics if it's anything company affiliated. Other than that, as long as you exercise a certain dash of decorum or just ethics, I think it's okay. So I until I screw up, I got a really long leash, or I damn near chewed the thing off.
That actually makes me happy to hear that, because usually when you get a multi-billion-dollar company such as FHC, that there's a lot of like corporate red tape that you got to jump through, and people got to see each post before they go out. And it's like, in this day and age, people want stuff now, and if you're not posting, people are forgetting about you. And I think you do a really good job.
And both you guys, clearly get that too. You have to be current. You need to be quick, and it's just authentic. If anything gets passed through so many filters or so many back checks of approval, one, you're talking about something that happened 2 weeks ago, and three, it's probably not going to resonate. It kind of gets either watered down, thins the soup and just basically becomes neutered. And it just becomes the same corporate minutia that everyone is just scrolling past. So you got to be a little quick and you got to be a little punchy. And once you hit post, we don't edit unless there's something grammatically wrong or fucked up and tagged the wrong person. Okay. Or who knows?
We'll try to not talk about religion or politics. But I'm in the politician religious. Yeah. So my only religion is glazing, glass and content, right? Our politics are content, our religion is glazing. So I just got a question for you. I asked, yeah.
Oh, the glass cutter, Sean.
See, mine is a microphone, a wireless microphone. Huh? So we just want to know what is your origin story? Like, how did you get into glass in the first place?
Well, Rob Herring was feeling a bit frisky one fall evening in 1980. Yeah, I mean, I've said this a lot. Anyone that's talked to me, I got to, my hot take is there's really only two routes into the glass industry. Either your daddy's daddy did it, or it was a total accident by happenstance. But once you're in, you're hooked. And so, I mean, I went to school, I drew ever since I could hold a pencil as a kid. And so I kind of went to school, uh, pursuing graphic design and marketing. But meanwhile, all throughout school, I swung a hammer. I worked demolition, light construction, worked for a few private GCs, things like that. So I've been around the trades a bit. My dad had came from the construction industry similarly. I mean, he worked more in structural lumber. So it kind of broke his heart when I went into glass. But from there, I mean, it was just kind of a roundabout way. I started working for an architectural firm on their marketing team, and so you start doing a lot of submittals, for different spec sheets, all the collateral there. But then the market kind of took a shit, and so they thinned the herd there, and so basically everyone was wearing a bunch of hats, and so I learned how to write specifications there. If you wanted to, luckily I wasn't making enough money to be on the cut list, but they certainly added to my workload. So that I got to learn a lot there. And then from there, I went to like a design build fabrication shop. They did environmental graphics, essentially just very expensive, fancy signs. And from there, similar cycle, while it was marketing and mostly design driven, it was a fab shop. And so I tell you how I want something to look, but I got to figure out how to make it. So I learned how to do shop drawings there, and working directly with people that are actually building the thing. But each one of those places had this connective tissue. Everyone had a CRL catalog, whether it was standoffs or anything in between, that was being used. So there was some loose familiarity there already. And then one day I got a phone call from a friend that said, Don Freeze wants to meet you. And
Wow,
well,
that's cool.
yeah, cool now. At the time, I said, who the fuck is Don Freeze? So shame on
Exactly.
me. And yes, sorry if you listen or see this, sir. But yeah, so essentially there was someone looking out for me that knew Mr. Freeze and knew me and kind of made that intro beforehand, kind of preceded it. And so I said, well, I definitely don't want to go work in Vernon, which is, I don't know if you guys are Florida and Colorado, but that's about as southeast LA as it gets. It's kind of industrial armpit. And I was like, oh, I'm not going there. But no, I went, I met with Mr. Freeze, and that's really what cemented me in the industry. I mean, it was supposed to be a brief meeting, what I thought, but he ended up spending the better part of the day with me and just talking to me, talking about his own philosophies, the company, gave me a tour of the whole place, and just I was really, I was gobsmacked by it. I mean, he walked that floor and he knew everyone's name. I mean, hundreds of people, whether they were working will call, stocking a shelf, or mopping the floor, he knew the company, he knew everyone on a personal basis, and he painted his picture and he wrapped it up at the end. He said, CRL, it's still America. You work hard, you can go somewhere. Now, what are you going to do for me? And I was like, I was like, I have no idea, but I'm in. Like, let's do it. So that was kind of my first actual entry into the glass industry. And then from there, just climbed and stuck. And um, you'd have to kick me out now. So I mean that was the entry point there to the industry. From there, I was there for about 10 years. Was vice president of marketing there. And then, the time came for me to move on. There was some changes there that I kind of wasn't aligned with. I'm not going to besmirch anything. I just knew it was a good place for me when it was good. I was a die on the hill kind of guy, charge anything. But my heart wasn't in it after a certain leadership changed and things kind of shifted with acquisitions. And so, I mean, there was a path for me. I wasn't, shuttled out of there, but I just realized, I wasn't going to be able to give the same level of commitment that I had with the new leadership. And so I parted and tried to do it amicably, long runway in terms of my exit. And then I could have gone anywhere at that point and actually done some immediate harm. And I didn't want to do that. I just knew I didn't want to hang my hat there anymore. And so I went somewhere neutral. I went to the Switzerland of the industry. I went to the National Glass Association, where it's my job to be everyone's friend. And so that experience there was phenomenal. I mean, I got it opened my eyes to a lot of corners of the industry that I wasn't exposed to. From the entirety of the supply chain down to the install, from floating raw material down to it going into the building, to machinery, equipment, everything across the board. I got to meet a lot of people, see a lot of organizations, and I learned a lot there. And I was there for about 6 years, and then I got the call to come home. Chris Hanstead, president and CEO of FHC. We I've been close with Chris for many years, and we had talked throughout the years. He's like, "When you coming in? When you coming in?" And it was always kind of just more casual banter than serious talk. And then he finally made the call and said, "All right, we're ready for that serious talk." And similarly, he painted his picture and he said, "We're ready for boomtown growth, and we need you now." And so I got to go home and return back to kind of my former family, everyone that I worked with before. And so now I'm here. I'm going on year 2, and it's been great. I mean, it's a playbook I know. It's a family I know, trust, and love, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, they duked it out for some really early startup years and survived a pandemic in year 1. And so I missed a lot of those headaches, but it's still nice. I feel like I'm still in early, to really be a part of a lot of growth, and it feels like I'm part of something special. It's a paycheck, but it really feels like something more than that.
Andrew, I've always wanted to ask somebody this that works at FHC and definitely was at Sierra Lawrence. I've had the fortunate pleasure of meeting Don Freeze on 3 different occasions. And the overwhelming number one takeaway I got from it is, for somebody who's acquired so much and at the age that he's at, that still gives as much as he does to that business, like, what is it like even being around him, even today, still to this day, his passion and love for the business? How infectious is that among everybody, not just you, but everybody in the company?
Oh, it's tough to put into words. I mean, I don't want to overplay it, but I mean, he's a force. Just his presence in the room is phenomenal. But I mean, he is full of the good kind of piss still. I mean, he lives for this. I mean, he doesn't have hobbies. I mean, this industry made him, and in turn, he's given back to it. And I think it's
He
keeping him
has.
going. I mean, he's still sharp as ever and feisty as ever. And when I talked about leadership and really believing in that, I mean, I love working here. I mean, it's hard, long days, weeks, everything, and it's not for everyone. You got to be cut from a certain cloth to really work here. But for the right leadership, Chris, and with Mr. Freeze involved as well. I mean, it's you point, I'm charging, and so I mean, it really it is a force, and it's you go saluting to the right generals, and you really believe in what you're doing.
That's incredible. So I first met Don Freeze at a glass build. It was maybe a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember, Andrew, but it was the first time I met you two in person. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was
Oh, in
last year
Dallas,
or the
yeah,
year before or the year
yeah.
before that. Maybe it was Dallas. But yeah, I remember I made a one of my cool videos that I usually make, and I tagged FHC, and then you guys reached out to me. But anyway, somehow it led to us meeting at a glass build. And I remember Chris and Don Freeze were like, "Oh, this is the guy that made that video about the wine cellar." I was like, "Yeah." So I just felt it was just like really, really cool that the leadership at FHC like knew who I was, and I'm
Yeah.
just a little guy. So I think that speaks volumes about the kind of leadership that you have. That you show appreciation to even the little guy like myself. And I gotta say, I must really appreciate that. So I kind of want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about some content creation, because that's what Keith and I may be considered, is content creators. So obviously, we do our thing, in industry, and we kind of do it just for us or our buddies. But you seem to have, or FHC, I should say, seems to have like a wide like umbrella. I noticed that on TikTok, there's some people I never seen before making videos for FHC. I know you got a full-time videographer, Glenn. is doing a great job. So can you just kind of break down from a high level, like how do you approach content across all the platforms and all the people under FHC, all doing it all at the same time? I got to know.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of multi-pronged and faceted. Well, first off, you dead on nailed it with Freeze and Chris and character. Sorry, I just got you got my brain going there when you mentioned that. Yeah, I mean talk about two powerful dudes that have no reason to acknowledge anyone. You know, they couldn't be more approachable or down to earth. And so in terms of the little guy, I mean, that's that's written on Freeze's. You know, that's his mo. I mean, he always protect the little guy. So, anyways, but no, I appreciate you saying all that. To the content side, I mean, yes, it takes a village. I'm a big proponent of create one, spread everywhere one, but then also also staying in lanes, having people that are well suited. I mean, you mentioned Glennavision Studios, Glenn Benia, if you guys want to look him up. I mean, super talented guy. I mean, he started doing other things, and I quickly realized some skill sets and talents there that were kind of being underutilized. And so I gave him the room to grow and just to really flex on the creativity side on video. And so he does some really impressive things there. And so I think having a variety of style and delivery methods and where it's going. I mean, everyone's getting dumber with short attention spans. And so you really have to have not only the marketing mix in terms of avenues and where it's going, but just styles. You got to do the really polished technical things that break down complex things that an architect's going to need to know, or if it's a really nice case study. It depends on who you're talking to. And then if you're hopping on like a Glazer Nation page, that's like the Wild West of shit talkers. And so you gotta have thick skin, and also just don't it's you gotta play to the audience. And so I believe in really having that variety, from a really something goofy,
Smart.
silly, that's going to start a serious conversation, or the finished piece that can kind of show well across the board, depending on the audience. I mean, me, I'm a kind of a storyteller by trade, and I love this industry. And so, I mean, I want to talk about current things, but I get really exhausted with just promote, buy this product, buy this widget, my company's better. And so, really, just trying to champion the people and the companies and the industry itself. I mean, there's so many. It's
Smart.
kind of it's a massive industry, but it's still a weird little secret industry. And so I really like kind of picking it apart. And, I like to celebrate everyone that's not me as well. I mean, people know me and are probably tired of seeing me. And so I try to get more people involved in both the process and the face, put them in front of the camera, get them producing their own stuff. And then even my competitors or just other industry players, I'll tell their story. I'll talk to them. I'll give them a plug. That's what a good corporate citizen does in the industry. And so if there's an appetite for it, I'm just going to keep kicking out random shit.
I think that's super smart to be versatile and wide lens like that, because Brandon and I talked about this. There was a study that said customers are 6 times more likely to buy from people they like. And if you're just up there giving your dissertation on the next widget or glass over and over and over again, you're really putting yourself in a small box. And so by not doing that and playing to all the different things, championing other people. Speaking of champion, I do want to say Andrew took notice of some of the stuff we were doing, made this little placard, made me an honorary ambassador, or no, official ambassador of FHC, which I'm very grateful of. And something as small and simple as this has gone a long way for me in strengthening my relationship with FHC and our sales rep. Shout out Jeff Z, who's really good and puts up with our bullshit. But I've actually sold a job because of this idea that Andrew sold. Customer came and was like, "Oh wow, you must be really official that you have something like this." You goddamn right I am. And so we appreciate your creativity and definitely the championing of everybody in the industry. Andrew, what's one of your favorite products at FHC to market? Not to just sell, but to market.
Um, I mean, you brought up
Well, let's start with this. How many products does FHC have?
like individual SKUs. I mean, down from the little widgets to
Yes.
the full blown system. I mean,
Yes.
you're talking 30, 40
Thousands.
thousand. I mean, we're talking tiny components down to 20-foot
Yeah.
base shoot. I mean,
Right.
it's a lot. Yeah. So it's my favorite though. I mean, I really like the ones. I mean, something that I can talk about that I think is, I can gussy up and talk shop with the architects, but I really like to live and play with the installers and glazers. And so anything that we're bringing to the market that makes their lives easier, that, I mean, there's nothing I know that they don't know already, but if we have something, our product managers, our engineers, half of them are former glazers or installers themselves, can bring something to the market that simplifies things, and it may not be revolutionary, but it's something that's going to make their lives easier, make them faster or more profitable. I could talk about that shit all day long. And so those are my favorites. I mean, door hardware is my bread and butter, and I mean, railing is really where I'm dangerous. I mean, you brought up you're a chief plaque. I mean, that's something there. I mean, checks all of those boxes, and I'm not going to get all promotional on you, but I mean, those I got plenty of ammo to talk about, and it's anytime you can believe in it. I'm not the car salesman that's gonna read the spec sheet off the windshield right in front of you and tell you that you could have figured out yourself. I'm going to try to introduce angles to it that you might not have considered. And so those are the types of products that I dig to talk about. But, I still got to move silicone and glass cleaner too.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of all the products by FHC, and to hear you talk about like to kind of go backwards a little bit about your origin story, I can relate to that as well. Because I used to work for my dad from ages like 5 to 15, and I just got a job in the glass industry by accident. And that first company was bought out by an investment firm. So like almost everything that you described, like your whole journey, like I experienced something very similar. But I want to like go back to another thing that you talked about, so you mentioned that your bread and butter, or one of your favorite things to do, is to talk to the glazer and promote the glazer and the little guy. And you mentioned something that that stood out to me big time, and that two words: storytelling in marketing, right? Because you get, of course, you can promote things, you can describe things, you can do anything and everything, but it seems like today on the content side, in YouTube and in short form, especially with the rise of I feel like storytelling is where it's at. So I wanted to, if you can just give us a quick breakdown of what is the basic format for a story that you would typically tell on a short form video.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're nailing it as well, and I think both of you guys do a really good job of addressing this. I mean, with the advent of the proliferation of AI. I mean the slop. There's so much out there that's designed to be polished that actually I think ends up looking worse if it's touched too many times or too artificial. So I mean, it's all about aiming for that authenticity. I'm not going to talk about something I don't know about. I'm not going to pretend to know something I don't know. I'll research something before I open my mouth. And it's really, I like to find angles, things that people might not know or, consider. It could be a really weird backstory. Like, okay, I could talk about our 20-acre manufacturing and headquarter campus here. No, I'm going to talk about how this shit was built in the 1920s and was used in the 40s and 50s to build missiles for the U.S. military. No, so,
That's cool.
I like introducing different angles that are still grounded and
All
tethered
right.
to a broad, a specific theme and a specific industry or product. And I'll get there eventually. But just the really scattershot, our product has, here's the features and benefits, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, and I tune that out immediately. And so I'm not as good as you guys are on just on a video piece. That's why I bring in Glenn. So you'll see really rookie looking shit from me, and then you'll see something shock and awe polished from Glenn. And so I think that's a good counterbalance. Kind of hitting bookending it on both ends of the spectrum. So I don't necessarily strategize it. I guess is the long story. You know, I'm constantly watching, looking. I'm paying attention. I'm not the smartest guy in any room, but I'm usually paying attention to details that other people usually miss. And you know, if I find it interesting, chances are someone else is going to find it interesting, and you know, something that's going to peel back a couple layers. And so I dig the history parts of it, and just kind of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily stumble on in your day to day, anyone in the industry. And so I don't necessarily sit down and like, all right, we got to find something, here Monday we're doing this, Tuesday that. It's like, oh, I'm going to take a picture of that, make a note, and I'll come back to it. And then I'll kind of go from there. And so I try to go with consistency just in terms of frequency. But in terms of the content, man, it'll be it today won't look like yesterday or tomorrow, and just mixing it up. And that's it. It it's gratuitous to say it's strategic. It's mostly just the way I operate. I'm moving fast and got to do a million other things like you guys. I mean, content creation isn't how I pay the bills. But it does in the long run, but it doesn't make the other responsibilities go away. And so it's, finding time to cram in these pieces that I believe are valuable and they seem to track and resonate, and bring attention. The right kind of attention is good. It's just, there's only so many hours in a day. Like I see the amount of editing you guys do and the consistency and the frequency of keeping that. I don't know I don't know that I would be as sustainable or as effective as you guys are doing.
Well, only because you both had brought up your father. Somebody just walked by, and I figured he should just come in and say
Hey,
he should.
What's up, guys?
I don't recognize him. I don't
What's
recognize
up?
him without the mustache.
Yeah. Boy, I get so many calls for that thing. It'd be all gray right now.
Bring it back.
It would look like snow on the roof up in New England.
Oh, get some shoe polish on there.
Yeah, a
We're
little
good.
shoe polish.
Is that what you use, Andrew?
Oh no, wait a minute. Using the wrong shoe polish.
All right. Well, he just wanted to say hi. You're hogging up all my airtime.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't have any surprise cameos.
Oh, there you
Unless
go.
you like
There you go.
Tapatio. What?
Andrew, can you tell us what your biggest has any of your marketing through social media correlated directly to a sale that you can put your finger on, or is it more just awareness and putting out the name of the company out there?
Yeah, I mean there's a ton of anecdotal evidence, but I mean tracking it down to a specific post or action to a PO. Yeah, I got those, but it's more about the relationship. Yes. I mean, this you guys are spot on when you say, that relationship component. People like to do business with people they know, people they like, and so those. When I'm at my best, I'm creating synapses that create new relationships. It's not going to be an immediate transaction sale right then and there. Those are when someone else fucks up and they got to find someone else to get that widget in time. But no, the relationships, 100%. Whether it's a customer or just friends, I've made some amazing friendships in the industry, just on that activity. I mean, present company included. And so in that initiates an interaction that builds the trust, that starts a relationship, that leads to a transaction. But that's not my starting point. If I'm focused on that as, my KPI, then
no, we all are.
I'm
We're
fucked.
just curious
So.
if there's one. I will say though, if you want to hear of an idea, because when I went out there and took a tour of FHC, that blew me away more than anything was that kind of call set. I called it like not a boiler room, but where all the service people are there taking the phone calls, and they have that television, the pit. They got that TV up on the wall that showcases how many outbound calls, how many calls each individual. It almost polices everybody. I love that because number one, I'm not talking to a recording or listening, which drives me nuts. Two, I get to talk to a human being and strength. I've become friendly without like Michelle and Jesse and Jose. Like they know me just by my voice when I call. And man, that makes me feel important. And And I want to do more business with people like that. And I don't think that's showcased enough. I don't know that a lot of people are actually aware of that and the actual importance of it. I think a lot of people want it, but they're just not aware of it. It's one of those details like you talk about that might fly under the radar, but it stuck out to me big time.
Well, now I got like,
And I just want to add on to that. I just want to add on to that. So like I first discovered this like when we first set up our FHC account because we needed a specific product. But I noticed there's this little box in the corner that says chat with us. And I'm like, okay, like it's probably just like the rest of the things. You just leave a message. But I went on there and I asked a specific question, and almost immediately somebody was on there chatting with me, telling me what parts they have, what's in stock, and then asked me, would you like to order this? I just need a PO. And I was like, yeah, sure. Use this PO. And boom, it was done. I was like, holy crap. I never experienced anything like that
well,
before in
thank
my
you for
life. And I think that's
clicking
my first,
yes.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
No, that's something. I mean, we pride ourselves a lot on it. I'm actually making notes right now. In terms of all right content to focus on. Let's start telling those stories more. But that's really been a key strategy for FHC. I mean, we rarely take things away. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are trying to force online business, and we want to do that. Like, if you want to make a quick touchless transaction, find what you need, you can find it, you can order. I'm the same way. Like, I don't always want to talk to someone, but when I
Yes.
want someone, I need help. I want someone that knows what they're talking about. And so I mean, that's kind of, I don't know if
Yes.
you call it old school mentality, but we're old fashioned in that sense where, customer service, it all comes down to, like, if either of you call, chances are you guys know more than a lot of us about what you're calling about. If we get a phone call, someone's got a problem. That's a phone a friend call, and it means they couldn't figure it out on their own. And so we've got to make sure that we can quickly get them to someone knowledgeable and personable, that can help them. But we're also on the flip side of that. I mean, we're also trying to beef up the website to be self-service. So if you want to service yourself, find it, make that easier. But if you want or need to talk to someone, and we want to make sure that we have someone equipped to handle that. And again, I think that's just going to be a recurring theme of this episode is just relationships, 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 relationships. I mean, you got to be competitive on price. But if you're in the same ballpark, you're going to service and speed are going to trump the price
Always.
point every time
Always.
from what I've seen.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh boy, can't wait for. I know Michelle's going to be
Hi,
listening to this, so everyone
Michelle.
say hi,
Hey,
Michelle.
girl.
Hi,
Andrew, what
Michelle.
questions do you have for either one of us?
Oh yeah, no, I was doing too much talking, so I made a brief little list, and so you
Ooh,
guys,
I
I'm going to
like
go
rapid
rapid
fire.
fire, and we'll start. We'll go Brandon. You answer
You got
first,
it.
then Keith, and then I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. No, so I got.
Okay.
We'll do Jeopardy style. You can choose your category. I have work, personal, or social media.
I knew it.
I'll go social media.
Social media for 500. In a sea of mediocrity, how does good content break through the noise of bad content? Brandon.
Hot takes and different angles.
And in post production, I need you to add the Jeopardy music.
I'm not going to do that. I don't have the time. I don't have time.
Oh.
Like you said.
All right. So repeat that again, please. Hot takes.
Hot takes and different angles.
Preach. All right. Keith Dobbin. Same question.
Consistency and quantity for me, I've seen, because like we talked earlier, we're in this, I want everything now, now, now. And the one thing I've realized with social media is the algorithm, I think, is really designed for the consumer. And if somebody likes watching your content, they can only watch what's out there. So obviously, the more content you put out, the more you're going to show up in your feed. And this is a recurring theme I've seen over the last couple of years when I see somebody, oh man, every time I open up LinkedIn, boom, you're right there. And to me, that just solidifies the consistency and the quantity. I'd like to up my quality like Brando. I just, I actually know very little about tech and the editing. I use my cell phone for everything. And if you watch me do a lot of my spelling, you also know I'm not a very good speller. But I think my hot take is quantity and consistency.
Hey, you're talking to the guy that watched you have to stash a gimbal in the bushes outside of
It's funny. I
Allegiant
forgot
Stadium.
about that. That was funny. That was a good time.
Yeah. No, you guys, I agree with everything you guys are saying. The algorithms, there was a version at some point where I was trying to figure that out. And it's just, I think if you can keep a level of quality and consistency over time, it's going to happen. I'm not going
No,
to try to time a post. I'm going to try to get my buddies to like and share at the same time and time it. I mean, there's folks that have tried. It's just I don't. Again, that deviates away from the theme of authenticity. But also, I just think you got. You know what? I could spend a day writing what I think is just a money post, and if that thing doesn't land quite right, if they missed it, I can't just go back and lick my wounds. I just got to keep moving and kick
yeah,
something out tomorrow. And you never know. It's surprising. Those things, the shelf life on these things is wild. Suddenly a post from 2 years ago will suddenly
yes,
catch fire because it finally came across across their feed, and then suddenly it's refreshed. I was like, oh, I don't even
so
remember that
true.
one. So that's the fun part. All right.
Yeah.
Question. Same category. Would you like to switch it up, Brandon?
I think I'm going to go with personal.
Okay. What is the dumbest purchase you've ever made?
Oh
Oh,
shit. Okay, I got to think about this one. I'm gonna have to say it was a
geez.
BMW 745i that I bought in my early 20s,
Yeah,
right?
the little guy.
When I was barely making anything. Yeah.
Oh,
So it was used. That was the thing. So it was like $9,000 and it was like this incredible machine. And I was like, fuck, dude, this I can buy this, like rich person's car for only $9,000. Well, it ended up being the best car I ever had until it started having problems. And because I'm not a master mechanic, it ended up costing me so much money that I never did that again. It was like a lesson learned. Do not buy a used German car if you're not a master mechanic or actually rich.
well, they put the engines in sideways. What are you supposed to do with that?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like even just changing the tire was crazy. Like I couldn't get that fucking thing off. Like the has like 10 bolts, comes off a certain way. An oil change is like way too complicated. And I'm not a guy that works on cars at all, so I should have not did
But
that.
did you have four-wheel drive for those snowy Colorado winters?
Oh yeah, I've always had it had all-wheel drive, and I've always been a guy that had some kind of four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive for that reason.
All right, Mr. Dobman, what's the dumbest
There
purchase
is
you've ever
a
made
massive
today?
laundry list of this, but I'd probably say 6 or 7 years ago, I bought a boat. I since the hurricane luckily took it away from me, and I was able to recoup most of my money. But I always enjoyed going on boats. I'd never owned one. Every single time I touched that boat, and I was told this was going to happen, it cost me money. Now, it wasn't always something with the boat. Maybe I dropped my phone in the water, my sunglasses, I ruined the prop. Every single time I took this boat out, it could have been $10, could have been $1,000. But by far, the two best days of owning a boat is the day you buy it and the day you get rid of it. And I'm grateful of the hurricane. That was a very good blessing in disguise for me to get rid of that money pit. Yeah.
Insurance write-off. Right on. All right. We'll go back to Brandon, but we'll let Keith pick
What was the third
the
category, Alex?
category. We've got
Yeah.
work,
Let's get
personal,
into the
or
work
social media.
for 200.
Okay. Do you want a fun work one or a
There it is.
serious work one? Have you ever been
Of
sued? No.
course. You haven't been doing a lot of
All
business
right.
if you haven't been.
Yeah, I've got a special tie just for court. All right, here we go. This one you guys can both track with this one. What's the most common mistake people make when measuring for a shower enclosure? Whether it's a seasoned guy or the helper. I guess you don't have the helper measuring, but what's the most overlooked item?
Well, I'd love to go first on this one. I believe for me, the most overlooked item is the ability to really listen for what the customer's after. And I don't mean happy listen, like, yeah, okay, I want to go ahead with this. Like, truly listen for what their actual pain point is. Because in my years of experience in going out to these, a customer that doesn't do anything with glass, they might tell you what they're looking after, but after really diving into it, it's not even close. They're just, they don't know all the nuances and details that go along with the heavy glass shower enclosure for the most part. And so if you're not able to truly listen for what they're really after, I think you're doing them and yourself a disservice. So I would say the most overlooked thing is the ability to listen and deploy empathy at a high level to tease out what it is they're actually after.
Yeah, listen first, diagnose, then prescribe, not just jam an agenda or your favorite system.
That is
or what
exactly,
you know,
there's an old
try to-
saying, and I've been using these sayings now that I'm in my 40s. I like all these bumper sticker sayings because they're,
Leaves of 3, leave them be. Leaves of 5, pass it on the left-hand side.
This one is seek first to understand in order to be understood. And so if you want them to truly listen to any solutions that I have to hear them first. Then they know that I understand where they're coming from. And then they're willing to kind of let their guard down and actually listen to what I might be prescribing. Yeah.
That was an incredible answer. Lots of wisdom there. And we had an entire episode dedicated to that specific thing where measuring isn't just about measuring, it's about the psychology of sales. They're almost one and the same. So my answer is much more boring. The one mistake that I see repeatedly, I make it myself. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, you've made it or you're going to make it. It's either inching a measurement or missing a fraction. So you write down 5/16, but in the computer you punch in 15/16, or vice versa, or you just straight up you're off by exactly 1 inch, right? On the most simple, basic shower door.
Instant.
Oh yeah, this is easy. I'll go out and bang it out in 5 minutes or whatever. And then when it goes in, it's like, this is an inch too small,
Bring out the
inch too
glass
big,
stretcher.
or this is exactly 3/8 too small, or 3/8 too big. Yeah. So yeah, there's a technical thing, just overlooking the smallest detail, such as an inch or 5/16 versus 15. 3/8 versus 3/16 versus 3/4.
That's an entire glass distributor right there. That's an expensive
coffee table
mistake.
Yeah.
So for both of you guys, I mean, how often are you guys doing your own measures and install, or do you have a measurement team and an install team? What's break it up for me?
Here at both our companies, my shower door and Mag, we have measuring teams and install teams. On the architectural side, depending on the complexity of the project, sometimes we'll go install all the metal and the installers will actually measure the glass. But for kind of daylight openings, they're squared off or rectangles. Jay and I will go out and field measure, sell, and then we'll create shop drawings and almost kind of, you like nostalgia stuff. Remember the Legos and the instruction manual? We'll kind of create an instruction manual on SketchUp for the installers. Everything's all in one shot and they go out and install. That's kind of how we operate. Yep.
Lots of notes.
Yeah. So when I first started here at Baron Glass, it was maybe 9 years ago. There was only 4 people. So when I first started, I was literally measuring and ordering everything. And I kind of kept that up until just recently. So now the owner, Bobby Barrett, he doesn't come in so much anymore. So now like I'm kind of in charge here. And so I have 3 other people under me that I train how to measure. So I have one guy, his name is Hunter. We pulled him out of installing. He was a good installer. Yeah, and we're training him on how to measure, and he's got it because he's technically savvy. He's installed. We've talked about that before. I'm training him how to use his iPad, how to draw in CAD, how to do things the way that I like to do it. And we just hired another guy, Marcus. He basically took my job at my last company where I came from. He came to work for us now because they sold to an investment firm. It sucks over there. So now I get to do it all over again with him, and he's actually going to go after his own jobs, measure and order his own jobs. So I still go out there and measure and order about half of my jobs, but as time goes on, that's less and less as I teach the skill to the next people, and I have to let them, carry the
Oh, and
torch.
that passing the torch is critical. You have that win the lottery or hit by a bus mentality. What
Yeah.
happens if Brandon disappears tomorrow? Who's gonna pick up the measuring tape?
Well, hopefully it's
He's
Hunter.
got the perfect
Come
name for
on,
it. Go out
Hunter.
there and hunt, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, we just gave him business cards just yesterday. I was like, all right, so you're not in sales. Your job is to measure and order. But if you're in between jobs, go talk to a contractor. Give him your card. That's all you got to do. So see how that goes.
All right, next question. We'll keep it with work. Post polishing tempered glass.
Okay.
Yay or nay?
I got a good story on this. Yay. Um, However, as long as it's not on your machines, we 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 found a guy in town that like we do it, but we don't do it as often as we have in the past. There's a local guy that kind of starving for work, and he's got no problem doing it. And we're pushing 300 400 panels a day through it. If one of those breaks in there, to save one piece of glass to potentially stop the production of 300 400 pieces of glass, that's not smart business. So it'd just be safer to just remake the piece. However, there is a guy in town that does it. And little footnote, found a machine. I should send it to you guys. It's like a stud. Those devices that you put over, the cops would put over your windows to check if it's tinted. It's kind of got a slot in it so the glass would go in between. They have one of these with an LED screen, and you can actually see where the tensile strength of the tempering stops along the edge. So when they tell you, kind of rule of thumb is that you could polish off half the thickness of the glass, you can actually see where the tempering stops with that machine. So anybody that's saying, oh, no, you can't do that. Believe it or not, I've seen where some pieces of glass have been tempered and there's half an inch, 3/4 of an inch of annealed glass going around the perimeter edges. And so if you were going to temper and you were worried about it breaking your machine, you could, I think it was like $250, purchase this little device to double check it. I thought that was a pretty cool invention.
Tells you the no-go zone
exactly.
for glass exploding.
That's a good question, Andrew.
About you, Brandon?
So I kind of lost track. Did you ask about post-polished laminated edges or just monolithic tempered?
Both, but definitely tempered, but both either mono or lamy.
Okay.
I see it more on lamy for obvious reasons, but
so I'd say if it's not a rush and it's not, if it's not going to take care of a customer, then no, just reorder it so you don't risk ruining your machine. We have one machine, so obviously we want to take care of it. But if it makes a difference of a piece of glass fitting for a good customer, then yeah, all day, right? And as far as the laminated, we only order laminated glass that has been post-polished because of the slippage, right? Because of that quality to, again, take care of the customer. So we'll literally do anything if a customer needs it. That's one of our repeat clients.
Very cool. Yeah, I think it gets kind of looked at poorly when you see a lot of technical guidelines come out that, there's a difference between edge grinding and, giving a little kiss polish at the end. Just to,
Dude, I've ground so much glass in my life because like the mentality is like if a piece of glass doesn't fit, you can either take it back and get it ran down maybe, or you just get your disc sander and grind that hump out of the glass. Like I've ground so much glass. I have pictures of my hair like gray, white, standing, of course I never wore a mask, so I'm probably going to die young, but yeah, I'm all about making it work.
That glazer glitter.
Oh, that's a t-shirt in the making there.
Yeah, glazer glitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I want to get a hat.
I know a guy. All right. Let's change the tone. All right, we're gonna just rapid fire real quick. Starting with Brandon.
Ooh.
Nirvana or Pearl Jam?
Nirvana.
Black Sabbath or Zeppelin?
Sabbath.
Biggie or Pac?
That's a good question. I'm East Coast. I gotta go Biggie. Ooh. I love Tupac.
I'm gonna have to go Pac just because I resonate with some of his more.
I love the cadence of Biggie.
Like deep songs.
I hear you. All right.
Yeah, Biggie I think has has
Yeah,
better
yeah.
rhythm, but I think Pac goes more deep.
Bad Bunny or Kid Rock?
I'm an American badass. I'm going Kid Rock. But I respect Bad Bunny.
I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Kid Rock too, just because I have no idea. I mean, I don't have never listened to any of his music, but I grew up on Kid Rock.
The correct answer is I watched the Puppy Bowl instead. All right. Let's keep cooking. Makita, Milwaukee,
Oh,
or
good
DeWalt?
question.
Milwaukee, baby.
Yeah, we've
Milwaukee
gone
all
through
day.
all of them, and right now we're on Milwaukee, and I've still go out enough to say I enjoy Milwaukee as well.
That's unanimous. We have a quorum. All right. Here we go. What's the most expensive fuck up you've ever committed on a project?
This one. Mine's 40K. Yes,
Is yours
40.
the wine cellar?
Wine
For what
cellar.
was it?
40K?
It was an oversized piece of glass from RH. It was a fuck up. And normally on jobs like this, I would go measure, then Jay would go measure, and we would kind of. But I was very overly confident, maybe cocky, because I got the sale and I was so proud of it, and came back and that was stick to the procedures. That was 40K. I didn't ever go to college, but I've paid my tuition.
Yeah, I think I'm in about the same. It was like an interior railing at a residence, and I did the wrong glass type. It was about 40 or 50K.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a sale price. Of course, our cost was less than that, but the amount of money that, yeah, it was about the same.
Yes.
Expensive lessons. As long as they stick.
Yeah.
Yes,
As long as you don't do it twice.
I agree.
That was my claim to fame. I remember I think it was Mr. Freeze I told. I said, I promise you I will step in every pile of shit that's out there, but I will never step in the same pile twice. All right, let's go. Okay. Would you rather hang a shower curtain in every bathroom in your house or bikini wax with mirror mastic?
I'll do the I'll do the mirror mastic.
Me too, because I kind of keep the bush,
no jammies.
free.
I would do
I'm a
it
bush
for the
free kind of
content.
guy. So good.
That would be kind of like the Glazers version of the sex tape.
Sounds like we got a swim team or an only
taking the
Blazers
jammies
page.
off. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Well, that's the beauty of the webcam. I don't know what you're rocking downstairs right now.
Next episode.
Business up top.
Yeah, business up top, party down below.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna land the plane here. We're approaching an hour, so I just want to leave it with this one final question. I finish every episode off this way. What are your goals for the next 5 years and 10 years?
Personal goals or company goals or anything?
I think it should be company goals.
Whatever, any. Yeah, it's a company.
Company goals. I would like in 5 years, at least one more, if not two more, FHC service centers on the map.
One in Colorado.
One of those will be happening sooner than 5 years. But those are realistic. Shit. That's a big state, dog.
Yes, it is. That's why it needs one.
Yeah, well, it's on the list. I can't say where on the list, but it's on the list. You're the only one. I mean, Hoop Dreams. I mean, I'd like to own 40% of the market.
Cool. I think you guys can do it.
All right. I think so too. Now let's go personal. What about personal goals for 5 years?
I hope I'm on the right side of the dirt and the people I'm in charge of taking care of are taken care of. I don't know. I mean, I I don't look 5 years ahead. Just me. I'm focused on today, tomorrow, and anything beyond that is gravy. I got kids going into high school, and in 5 years going into college. Just happy and healthy. I mean, it sounds trite or played
That's
out, but
true.
that's it's a simple goal. It's something to shoot for. That's not super specific. So that's yeah, probably not the most exciting answer, but that's what I got.
No, it's
What are
good.
your goals?
Yeah. Let's wrap
I
it
wasn't
up.
expecting that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that the table
So,
turning?
yeah. All right. All right. Table turn. I'll go first. So 5 years work is to have our own. It may take 10 years. Is to have all of our own machinery to cut all of our own glass in house. We're in the market now for a building big enough to put our own assembly construction line. A process I was a part of once before, and I've talked with Keith and Bryce about the way that they do it. So Keith knows that. For personal, I just want to retire a millionaire. That's
In 5
basically my only
years?
goal. Maybe 20.
Yeah, give take.
Yeah.
Yes, of
Keith, you
course. We
have
want to
goals?
continue opening more locations because what it's done is every time we open another location, it exponentially helps several employees because we promote a lot within. And so we won't open a new location until we have somebody in-house that's ready to take over that store because we gift the way we've run our locations is we gift ownership to key employees when we open these stores because what we found early on was, you hear a lot of owners say, God, I wish I could find somebody that would work as hard as I can and stuff. And I would say to them, well, are you paying them what you get paid? And they're like, well, of course not. So well, they're never going to work as hard as you. And, that was kind of an eye-opening moment for us. If we can't be everywhere, but we want someone to act as if they were us, they have to enjoy the same benefits. And so I love when we open new stores because it changes people's lives. And then along with that,
Yeah.
we're getting ready to open up another manufacturing facility up in the Charlotte area where we have a couple locations currently. So those are our 5-year goals right now.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, I think you can give someone skin in the game. I mean, the buy-in there is, if you guys are good, it's good for them. If things are bad for you, it's bad for them. I mean, that really that hits the gas pedal on buy-in right there and commitment and drive. So kudos to you guys.
So
And the lofty goals as well, Brandon. Millionaire in 5 to 20 years.
as long as people keep showering, we should be able to hit those goals, guys.
Oh yeah, easy. All right. Well, that's it for this was a good episode, man. We might have to do this
I
again
told you, Andrew's
down the line.
polished.
We
It's polished.
just tip of the iceberg on my questions, bud.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, same here. That's usually how it goes. This might have to be an ongoing
Stay
thing.
tuned, kids.
All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. We got 1 hour, 2 legends with me in the content and the glazing game. This is I can do that. Hold on. Yeah.
That's Coast,
Okay.
baby. Sorry, Florida.
How does it go over there? Is this
Oh.
east or I don't know? All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you
Thanks,
in the next
gents.
episode.